Once again, we're back to the question of the chicken or the egg. The real problem with Mr. Bukhari's analysis of the legal piece is that he's not taking into consideration the root cause of the problem, which is the fact that we have had a city where I can't blame it all on the city attorney, because the city attorney takes instruction, takes direction from the city commission. And we have had a commission that has not instructed, well, first of all, has not hired a salaried city attorney and directed the city attorney. If you look at our city attorney's contract, look it over real carefully, because the city attorney is not directed to keep the city out of trouble. The job is not one of keeping things okay. The job is actually to be hired to defend the city, to be assigned cases. So when a city attorney is making money by the hour to defend the city from lawsuits, it's not an incentive to prevent them. And I think that is the real cause for this situation. And citizens who are trying to correct the situation should not be blamed for the faults of the city commission and the city attorney.
Yes, sir, Mr. Bukhari.
This is my last one?
Yes, sir.
Just wanted to clarify. If Mr. Candy had filed one lawsuit, okay, 2 lawsuits, 3 lawsuits, and a part of an organization or a group that has filed multiple lawsuits, 5, 6, 7 lawsuits, okay? So when that is the issue I have, okay, and I call it a crime against democracy. The definition of democracy is a government by the people, a form of government in which the supreme power is vested in the people and their elected officials under a free electoral system. And therefore, in my opinion, the seemingly line of unending lawsuits against the city of Alachua and the people, because that's what Alachua is, the people, to me is a crime against democracy. If the city pays the $200,000, and we've already paid $250 plus another $200 from other lawsuits from other individuals I will not name, we will exceed $650,000, $700,000 in lawsuits, and that's a good thing because you're representing the citizens. You're not representing me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
That's what this whole thing is all about.
If I could ask the audience to refrain from any applause or remarks.
We're paying a lot for the taxes. The access, why they choose the locations they have. So yeah, and I certainly support keeping one there.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Helly.
Well, Mr. Wilford makes a good case. Plus, I think the supervisor of elections picks these sites. I would think. So I don't really have a problem with it at all.
Thanks, sir. Ms. Perkins.
I don't even see the relevance of it being a gated community or not. I think there should be precincts located in a location that's accessible to the people. There are a lot of people out at Turkey Creek. There needs to be a precinct there. I was glad to see precinct on the other side of 441. I mean, we need to have precincts in pockets. That's what they are, precincts. They need to be where the people are.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Bukhari, you're next.
Turkey Creek holds, what, 33% of the population? Mr. Wilford, is that about? That's close enough for me. Everywhere you go, vote, vote, vote. We need voters. Everybody get out and vote. I don't care who you vote for. Well, that's what I go by, and that's what a lot of people go by. I see it on commercials and national elections. That's the best way to get people to vote. I think Turkey Creek's got so many people out there. I'm absolutely for Turkey Creek having a voting precinct. I think it's great to have an opportunity. We've got 3 voting precincts here, and I think Turkey Creek is as much a part of this community as any other neighborhood anywhere. So I'm absolutely for Turkey Creek having polling precinct there at that golf course area where I have played golf before. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Canny.
Well, one issue that I'm glad to say has been resolved is that in the past there's been a voting precinct in Turkey Creek, but there was the inability of people who did not live in Turkey Creek to actually campaign there. And I'm glad to say that the association has taken care of that. As of last year, candidates are allowed to go and campaign in Turkey Creek before the election. And before, it was kind of tend to favor a candidate who lived there because you couldn't go there and canvass his neighborhood or her neighborhood. So I think that's great. I'm kind of surprised that there isn't a bigger turnout there, considering the fact that, you know, there's a precinct at the clubhouse, but the whole city, you know, has a problem getting voter turnout. And anything we can do to make it easier for people to vote and encourage people to vote, I'm for it. And so I just hope we can do better than 11% this year.
Okay, thank you, candidates. That is the end of our questioning, and at this time you will have 1 minute for a closing remark, and we will start with Mr. Canning. 1 minute closing remark.
A lot has been said about my lawsuits against the city. I would like to say that the reason I'm running for this job is because I do care about the city and I do care about integrity of government. I do believe that honest government should not be an oxymoron. I know there's a lot of cynicism out there about government, and I would like to see young people take more of an interest in government and participation in government. And I think Mr. Wilford's suggestion about a citizenship program is something that I've actually talked about with people. I think, you know, we're not going to have a democracy if we don't have people participating, taking an interest. It's not a spectator sport. So as a commissioner, I will represent all residents of the community. I will not represent any special interests. My special interest will be the citizens and taxpayers of the community, and I will have the best interests of the community at heart when I make decisions about how I'm going to spend your money and how I'm going to participate in planning the future of the community. So I'm asking you to make me your commissioner on April 13th, and be sure to get your friends and family to vote and everyone you know.
Thank you, sir. Mr. McCarthy, 1 minute.
Just want to clarify or make it a point that everything I've said regarding figures and money with lawsuits are facts, and you can do a public records request at the city of Alachua and look up the information and see it for yourself. I want to thank the Alachua County today for hosting this forum. I want to thank Jim Gabriel for volunteering and taking the time out to come here and be the moderator. I truly appreciate it. I'd like to thank all the candidates. This has been a long process. It's been very long, and it's tiring, and it's stressful. So I'd like to thank the 4 other candidates here for being at the forums and for discussing and being open for debate. And you know, everybody has different opinions, and that's what makes this world great. And as a commissioner, I'm going to represent all of the citizens, and I will talk to everybody. And not because we disagree on something. I'll talk to everybody, and let's all try to make Alachua the better good life community. Vote Ben Bakari on April 13th, 2010. BenBakari.com is my website, and I am asking for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Helling.
I'd like to thank everybody too. This was great fun. It really was, and thanks for coming out, everyone. I owned a small business up there in town, and I took a derelict building, I turned it into Country Treats Deli. Sue and I ran that thing for 10 years and sold it to Country Treat. Who did we sell it to? Harvest Time, and now it's Padiddles. 80% of all restaurants go out of business within the first 5 years. So I can do that sort of thing. Everything I've done for the city, in the city of Alachua, has helped the city. Also, if you just talk to anybody who knows me, you will understand that I am a fair, open-minded, and thoughtful person. So if those are important to you, vote for me on, when is it? April 13th.
Thank you very much, sir. Ms. Perkins.
Ben, I want to thank you for that recommendation as far as the arts is concerned, but whether you know it or not, I know you don't know it because it probably happened before you were born, but Mayor Holland actually